like three dudes who are trying to survive this like athletic battle 1v1 against these basically American gladiators.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you called it American Gladiators on like freaking more steroids than they were already on.
Yeah, it is The Price is Right if that was part of American Gladiators and all of the American Gladiator stuff was to the death. So I think the hunters are super cool, like that they're very themed. They all have their own like special weapons and style and goofy gimmick name.
I don't know, split screen. Welcome back to the Movie Dads podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Howie.
I'm Kyle.
And that is Kyle. Kyle, episode number 49. Movie Dads podcast. The You Need to See This Movie.
God,
1987 American dystopian action film. The Running Man.
What a time to be alive that must have been. My God.
Late 80s?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was all right.
I don't remember it because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But man, were they churning out some fucking dingers of movies.
Dingers.
My God.
Churning out fucking dingers. Hopefully you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click that like and subscribe. Click the bell. Let us know, let you know when new episodes will be coming out. Leave us comments. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Got a new segment coming out today. Try out. Testing the waters. Little interesting. Tell us if you like it. Tell us if you think it's entertaining. If you're not watching us on YouTube, hopefully you're listening to us on one of many podcast networks such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, among many others. You can see some of our short clips and videos also on social media at Movie Dads Pod, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Oh, your hand's off screen. Bummer.
Damn
it. We're Movie Dads. We've got movie kids. Kyle, we spent the weekend at the softball fields. The entire weekend. Nice. Tournament. It was the Heroes something tournament. I don't know, whatever it was.
Any heroes on the team?
No.
Anyone turn it around?
Well, it's a pretty good story. This is going to be I got a good story to tell. So Reagan's team was the 4 seed in the tournament. So I think it was 5 or 6 teams, whatever. 4 seed. So they had to play 2 and 3 on Saturday. They lost both games. They lost the 2 and they lost the 3. Bummer.
Okay.
Now you're in the consolation bracket.
Mm.
So then you got to play first thing Sunday morning. So we're supposed to be at the ball fields at 8 a.m. on Sunday, which is not a fun day to be at the ball fields at 8 a.m. because it's like the one day I get to sleep in a week. But whatever. Whatever.
Selfish.
But then it was
selfish softball.
Right. But then it rained. So then it was a rain delay. But it's a tournament, so it has to happen. So we get there at 9. The game ends up finally starting at 10. Okay. Now, these softball games are timed. This isn't like you play 9 innings and it's over, right? It's like an hour and a half, game's over. Whatever inning you're in, that's the last inning, right? Typically, it's like the 4th, right? Usually they play like 4 innings, whatever. Okay. 4th inning, tied. Okay. Going to extra innings. 5th inning, play the 5th inning. Takes forever. It's tied. Okay. Now both teams are just hitting. Like they're scoring runs at will. Okay. So in the 6th inning, they come over, like the officials for the tournament, and they're like, listen, they need to play another game. We got to play the next game in the tournament. You guys are taking too long. This is what we're going to do. You're going to start with runners on every base and 2 outs. And you get 3.
They just made that up like that?
I guess it was in the rules. Anyway, okay. It was in the rules.
Love that.
And you have 3 batters to see how many you score. So the other team, we were the home team, so the other team got to go first. They scored 3 runs. We're fucked. No way.
Okay.
So bottom of the 6th, guess what? We score 3 runs.
Let's go.
7th inning. Okay. 7th inning, top of the 7th inning. Other team scores 2 runs. Bottom of the 7th, we score 3. We win the game. Final score,
go. Walk off, baby.
Final score 25-24.
Jesus, Mother Mary.
It was fucking insane. It was absurd.
That's a lot of runs. But
So
man, what a win.
so they win this game. So now we're out of the consolation bracket. So we're in the final four. We're in the semifinals.
No,
So
you're
now
back in it.
So now we have to play the 1 seed, which is the undefeated Wildcats. They're like 9-0. They haven't lost the game yet, right? So I had to go to work because I had an inventory the next day. So I'm at work and my wife's texting me like live updates. So 2 things. 1, Reagan had 2 RBIs in this game. She caught a freaking fly ball into left field, like reeling backwards.
Hell yeah.
Caught it. That would have scored like 3 runs. They won. They beat the 1 seed undefeated Wildcats. So then they had to play in the championship, and they ended up losing in the bottom of the inning by like 1 run.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, it's a bummer they win, but that's awesome. That's what you needed to turn it around.
Yeah.
Get the juice going.
So the entire weekend was I was either working or I was at softball. That was it. There was nothing else in between. So
yeah. Love that.
Exciting.
I actually just came from baseball. I mentioned the other week I am coaching, and today was the first practice for the older kids. So like had to meet the parents, find out who could play, who needs a little work. Was actually a ton of fun. I'm really glad I'm doing it. I went kind of a weird route. I had sent like an email out to all the parents and said like, hey, if you're interested in helping at any time, if you want to help at practice or games or all season, you can. I am okay with that. Because last year I wanted to do that. I wanted to help, and like there was times where I was like, oh, I don't want to step on her toes, but like I would she probably could use the help. And like this year, it was great. Like there was 2 parents that reached out to me and were like, I want to help coach, blah, blah, blah. And they were great today. Like they were all over the place helping the kids. Grayson had a great time. Met a couple of new friends. I'm excited. So I think I threw them off. I'm, as you know, and most people that know me in person, when I'm not a curmudgeon in my house, when it's summertime, I have like a giant speaker that I essentially always have on with music no matter where we go. And so when I played in college, I thought it was like the coolest thing at practices when we would have music playing. So like these freaking kids show up and the ballpark is like blasting Green Onions from the Sandlot, like that classic baseball song, and like was just playing music all day while we were practicing, and everyone just had a blast. So I'm excited for it. Should be a good time. Should be fun. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, Grayson was really helpful. Last year he would get just like exhausted halfway through, and if he didn't catch something or he didn't hit the ball, he would like totally shut down. This year he was locked in all the way to like the last 2 minutes. Then he was like, all right, I'm fucking done. This is too long. So but yeah, so baseball is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. So, and softball. So but we have a ton to talk about in my most excited segment. So let's jump into that. Our 6 to midnight. This is the segment where we talk about the things that get us up in the morning, that we're excited about, that what nerd news has come upon us that we are super juiced on, whether it's new or old, whatever is with us. So we got a lot to talk about. A couple of things I want to talk about, which I didn't mention this before the episode started, but I got, you know me, I'm a Batman figure nerd. I've got them everywhere. I'm obsessed with them. And I had mentioned that McFarlane, who makes all these figures, was coming out with the Batfleck movie figure that we've been waiting for forever. It finally came out. I was super excited for it. It's not really movie accurate, but there's a random company from Japan who has made some really, really crappy knockoff figures of all of the Batman movies for years. And then out of nowhere, they got the licensing rights to do Batfleck's Batman out of nowhere. So they just randomly posted this new Batfleck Batman vs. Superman bat figure. Super inexpensive for like $40, which for this fucking thing, it's amazing. Anyways, I thought it was going to be like straight off of Wish. And then the most amazing straight out of the like Batfleck walked out of the movie and walked onto the shelf at my house. So It's got a freaking soft goods cape. He's jacked, looks just freaking like him. Look at the cow on that, man. I'm so freaking stoked for this. What I thought was going to be a freaking just insanely cheap figure that's now my world's greatest figure, and this company has not made anything else good. So anyways, that came in. I'm freaking obsessed with it. I've got a couple other figures that came in too, but in the nerd world, you had sent me a trailer that somehow I didn't see, but we've got a new Dune show that's dropping in the fall. Prophecy, right?
Dune Prophecy, right? On
Dune
Max.
Prophecy. It's interesting because there are IPs and nerd franchises that I know every every moment of production, like there's a new picture or something that comes out, like Superman. Every time someone farts, we get news about the Superman movie. But like there are some times where there's like no info, or it just for whatever reason didn't hit my feed at all. But I had no idea about this show, and you sent me that trailer, and it literally looks like the same quality as Dune 2 for a HBO Max or just Max show, and it's coming out in the fall, like in a couple of months.
Yeah, the trailer came out already.
Yeah, the trailer looks awesome. It's set, was it like a couple
10,000.
100 years, 10,000 years before our Lord and Savior Paul Atreides, one Timothy Chalamet, before he arrives to grace us with his presence. It essentially follows like how the Bene Gesserit started, and then how they like are starting to plant the seeds for their major plot that sort of comes to fruition in the Dune movie. So, but the show looks great. The production quality looks movie quality. It doesn't look, it's not like a CW show. It literally looks like the Dune movies, but it's a show. So I'm excited for it. Max always like crushes everything they do. They're so good at every show. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to let you take the next thing, and then I'll jump back with another one after you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to like a new series that I didn't know was coming out that we got news of. So Netflix is releasing an animated series in August called Terminator Zero, which is like an anime style Terminator series. Obviously adult. It's on Netflix. It looks super cool. We got some still images, no trailer yet. But it's an 8-episode series. Like I said, it's animated, comes out in August. So that was kind of a surprise. I kind of got like, anime like vibes, like something you'd have seen coming out of the early 2000s on a TV series or something. But it looks pretty awesome. The image is doing. Kind of curious to see where the story takes place and what kind of, but I'm here for Terminator comment. We've been talking a lot about Terminator lately.
Dude, the timing was like insane.
Might talk about a little Terminator later today. I don't know. Could be.
So, I love it. I don't think we've really talked too much anime, maybe like some stuff, but between you and I, like we typically, for whatever reason, the Netflix anime like original shows like Castlevania, I think was that
my God, yes, we've talked about that on here before. That show's freaking amazing,
really great. I'm not a big anime guy, but for whatever reason, but like Castlevania I freaking loved. There's a Witcher anime show that's like fucking awesome. There's another one that I'm not thinking of that I now feel bad for not giving it a shout out, but all of the Netflix animes I've been all about. Cyberpunk did an anime show to go with the video game that basically made everyone go back to want to play the game. So I'm excited for that Terminator anime. Like, take my money, even though you already do every month.
Cash the check.
Yeah. But okay, love that. Sticking in the animated world. We finally got the ending of X-Men 97. The finale was upon us, which I think I've said upon us 40 times so far today. But that dropped, and wow, this show is perfect. It is a masterpiece.
It is. It has surpassed the original.
I will say I've maybe don't post this as a clip because I'll get roasted. But I got very much Infinity War and Endgame vibes. I liked the episode before the finale more than I liked the finale itself.
I agree. I think, we're talking like, yeah, we're talking like Infinity War and in-game, right? Like we're talking like an A and an A minus. Like we're not talking,
Yeah.
we're
Like
not talking
1A, 1B.
We're not, we're not talking shit.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
it was awesome. It's freaking
Yeah.
great. We found out that Wolverine is still alive.
Barely.
Barely. We talked about this last time. I just love all of the like epic X-Men stories and moments and callbacks.
They were able to put so much into it. So many different story arcs kind of tied together, and it worked. It worked, which is crazy.
They did a little bit of I think was a tease. Some people have been talking about online, but basically they showed, I can't remember the name of the guy who's Storm's boyfriend, but
Forge.
They showed, so Forge is in like the lab downstairs, and it shows basically like almost like a video game panel of all of the headshots of all of the X-Men.
It looks like the cover of Days of Future Past of the comic, which I have hanging up.
Love that for you. But they obviously had like deceased or unknown because they at the end they all, spoiler warning, but they all got sent to different dimensions or timelines, and but there was a couple headshots on that of like Kitty Pryde and some other
Emma Frost
X-Men.
was on there. Yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people saying,
yep.
Yes. There's a lot of people saying online that like season 2, they think that they were kind of alluding to that being part of the team or maybe like a squad. But
yeah, the rumors I saw is they think Forge is going to start X Factor in the absence of the X-Men. He's going to start X Factor, and they're gonna go to find the missing X-Men. Which,
love that.
In the comics, the X-Men do go missing for like, I think it's 6 months.
There's so much time travel stuff in X-Men. Like
there
insane.
Is a ton. And we got kind of a old Apocalypse vibe, right?
Dude,
like
that was
ancient
cool.
Egypt, and then you get a little present day Apocalypse teaser at the end of the episode too. So we didn't get Apocalypse vibe. We didn't get any Apocalypse in this season, which I was surprised, right? Like, it was very Magneto, sinister, which if you watch the old series, like I just finished watching it, lots of Magneto, lots of Sinister, lots of Apocalypse, right? Like those were the 3 big bads throughout the series. No Apocalypse. So I think season 2 is going to be Age of Apocalypse. That's what I think is going to happen.
I agree. And I think that's they did it right. Like, it kind of feels like the Avenger movies were like, they're not going to give us Thanos right away. Which, I mean, we've seen the character in the original show, so he's not like new to these people.
But I always think, like, you think Magneto's more the X-Men big bad, right? Like,
like I think of him more of like the daily bad.
Yeah,
he's like,
I guess
he's the daily bad guy.
It is kind of weird though, because Magneto's he's always, even in the comics, he's always kind of like, he's a villain, but at the same time, like you kind of get it. You get where he's coming from. Yeah. Like his motivations are.
Yeah, he's the other side of the coin.
Yes,
looking at the same problem.
Or Apocalypse is just the douche.
Like,
nozzle.
I'm fucking kill all of you. So, love that. That was great.
Just to touch on that too, just real quick before you jump into that. So, Disney Plus has done this thing like with some of the new movies and stuff. The MCU movies, when they come out, they always release like a documentary, and it's called like Marvel Studios Assembled.
Oh,
and they do it on like they did it on some of the shows. Like they did like a WandaVision one, and it's like a making of thing. They just released today.
Oh, so now we got more content.
X-Men 97. Yeah. So just like a behind the scenes thing. So
is the original like creator, director, writer, a part of that?
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw that it came out today. I didn't even know
Oh, that's
it was
awesome.
coming. So I'm pretty excited that they did it for one of
Nice.
the animated shows. So yeah.
And we get a little bit more content of the thing we're excited about.
Yep.
I saw him. I don't know why I can't think of his name off the top
Bo
of my head.
DeMaio.
Bo DeMaio. I
Yeah.
just saw a video posted that he was at like a restaurant or some nerd like info night or something, and people were at like, it was like a Q&A session or something. I
Yep.
don't know. It looked like an Applebee's, but they were like asking him about the show and like what his thoughts were going in with certain characters, and it was cool to hear him talk about like his motivations and like what his plans with Wolverine were and why they didn't do what most people have been doing with them, and like how he wanted to make Rogue the character that was like the pivotal one, blah, blah, blah.
If this show proved anything, it proved that him as showrunner he knew the X-Men, right?
Dude,
like he knew the content before it came out. And because they're going to stick with his plan for season 2, because season 2 is already like, I think it's already in post-production. There's rumors going around when we might see it
right now.
Yeah, there's rumors we might see it this year. I doubt it, but please.
Yeah. Oh my God. Please, sir. May I have some more?
Exactly.
That would be great.
But they're going to stick with his writing and stuff for season 2 because it was already kind of done.
It's so wild how, because people love this show so much, that people aren't like going out of their way to burn him at the stake for whatever fucking stuff he did.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's the thing. Is nobody really knows details. I mean, you don't know. You think you know, but it's kind of one of those like, I was thinking about this because I'm all this totally off subject, but all this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit, right? And it's like, everybody's like, yeah, Mike Tyson, we love you, fuck that guy up. And it's like, does everybody forget that Mike Tyson was in prison for raping a gal? Like, does everybody forget that happened? Because that happened. And like, nobody remembers it. It seems like he bit Evander Holyfield's ear off. Like, those things happen, people. Like,
yeah. He's been on his road to redemption.
Yes,
right?
but that's it's like people
daughter died and stuff. It was kind
people
of
just forget. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you're horrible.
Kind of like Shia LaBeouf returned to the red carpet this year, and a lot of people were like so happy and excited for him, and because he's been very upfront about like that he did horrible things. He knows he did horrible things. Doesn't mean that they're okay, but like, what do you do? How do you respond to it? He's been trying. So you already know I like his movies, but figure your life out off the side. So anyways, X-Men 97, obviously it's been massive. I assume that is why all of a sudden we got news and info that Marvel Studios has the X-Men movie now in the works. They've got a writer that's now confirmed from one of the
Hunger Games prequel.
Michael Leslie did Hunger Games prequel,
the Songbirds and Snakes movie.
Yeah, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I did not see. So
neither did I.
They lost me after the second Hunger Games movie. So
I read the books.
Oh, were you? Is that one of the ones where you like one of the people that's like the books were so much better than the movies?
No, they were good. I mean, the books were good, but I thought the movies were good. I didn't have a problem with them. But I liked
the first one a lot. I
didn't go out of my way to go see this prequel that came out at the end of last year. I didn't. Whatever.
Well, I actually will have to do some research to see if it was actually good, but it seems like people are excited that they signed him to be the writer for this X-Men movie.
I don't know why they didn't just hire the people that are writing this fucking show.
Well, we talked a little bit about that last episode, so it's interesting that now we've got this news that they've signed someone that is the writer. When we were talking about how like rumor is they're not going to go with X-Men 97 people for the movie, and like a lot of people are like, why? Like, why would you?
Clearly,
why do you have lightning in a bottle and you're stupidly going to go around it? So, but everyone, you guys blindly follow Kevin Feige off a freaking cliff. So I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Well, he hit home runs for 10 years. So
That's true. Well, I'm trying to look at the like release date. I don't see any info on that. So,
No,
but
it's early pre-production. It'll be
it's
years.
cool though. We're getting another
Yeah,
X-Men movie. I'm
yeah,
excited for that. So,
yeah.
what else did you have for us?
Okay, so already got a lot. So just sticking with Marvel. Marvel came out this week. Marvel came out this week, and they said they're kind of gonna change the focus of the TV shows, right? Like we already heard, they're gonna do just a couple a year. That's the way it's gonna be. But Marvel TV shows you're gonna have their own banner. It's not gonna say Marvel Studios anymore. It's gonna be like Marvel Television, and then like shows like X-Men '97 are gonna say Marvel Animation. And the whole goal around this is that the MCU is now so, 20, 30 movies deep, and there's all these TV shows and stuff. It's almost become a chore to know what's going on, right? And so so they want these shows to just be shows. You don't have to know every single in and out of every character and be like, oh, that ties into that. And
Shocking.
they've gotten to the point now where it's just too much. It's too much for, especially if like your target audience is like 12-year-old boys. Like they don't have the attention span to know what the hell's going on.
Well, and all the main characters that people are excited have played their stories out. So now it's like, all right, let's tell original stories without having to
So they're gonna start doing that, right? They're gonna reduce the amount of content, and then it's gonna be its own thing. With that being said, they did announce today that in 2026, because the 2025 slate is full, they've got a couple shows coming out already in 2025. 2026, we are going to get a Vision television series with Paul Bettany.
Oh,
to kind of wrap up his story, which we're left hanging after WandaVision. We haven't seen Vision since, so he's going to get his own series, which doesn't have a name yet, but it's going to be in 2026. So kind of wrap up his story. That'll be good.
So freaking Chaucer. Which actually, in the panel that we talked to him, he did say that like he almost like let the cat out of the bag about something,
right?
Of like, because someone asked like, where's like what happens next to Vision, or like where does that set up and go, and he was almost like,
it was like, well, I've maybe
just
already kind of talked to somebody about that, so it's coming, kind of deal. Yeah, we
so that's
thought
cool
that was coming, but now it's got a, we got a time frame on it, probably early 2026. So
love it. What, any new movies coming out? I haven't really asked that. I feel like that's something we should talk about in the pod sometimes. But like, what's coming out this week or in the next couple of weeks that we're excited about?
We did talk about last week. We did talk about Furiosa because the reviews had started coming out. God. That's actually coming out next week, right? Or this week. It's coming out tomorrow from when we're recording. But Furiosa is right around the corner. The reviews are phenomenal. Like maybe Fury Road even
better from what I'm seeing, which is crazy.
Cannes is going on right now. I don't follow Cannes a lot, the film festival, but there's always news about that. Like, so and so's movie got a 3-minute standing ovation. So and so's movie.
I was just about to say that. Kevin Costner. Yeah. I sent you a trailer for like a drama cowboy western with Kevin Costner, and your response was like, these looks boring and long, which is probably true, but it's cool to see like Kevin Costner. He teared up after like a 6-minute standing ovation.
Yeah,
which was like, all right.
So he made, I think it's called American Horizon. Oh my God, Horizon, an American saga. Part 1 comes out in like June, and then part 2 comes out in like August. He financed like $38 million of his own money to make this movie, right?
Oh shit!
Yeah, and so
maybe that's why he's so prideful.
I think so, because he's like shopping it to like get distributed, but I think that's done now. I think he's got a distributor. I like Kevin. What?
Oh, go for it. Never mind. Keep talking.
All right, I like Kevin Costner. I like his movies. I like Yellowstone. I like his old movies. I never had a problem with Kevin Costner. Sometimes he makes long form movies that are a little too, I don't know, there's too much to them and they tend to drag on. Okay, so I'm going to use this as an example. You know how there's always that, like, there's like the same 2 movies came out in a year. Like we got Deep Impact and we got Armageddon and blah, blah, blah. So that we got Wyatt Earp and we got Tombstone. Tell me which one's better Tell me why. Okay, so Tombstone's far superior to Wyatt Earp because Wyatt
Yeah.
Earp's too long and it's boring. Tends to happen, right? Like, listen, Dances with the Wolves is a fantastic movie. Tis very long and slow. It is.
That's
So
true.
it
That
is
is accurate.
But that's
I
like,
agree.
so he's making a 2-part saga movie. Is this going to be like 6 hours? Are they going to, we don't watch like, oh, I don't know.
I got a vibe. There's a Christian Bale movie that was like direct to Netflix where he is like I forget what it's like olden times, and he's transporting like an Indian chief across America, kind of in cowboy times, kind of in Civil War times. I can't specifically remember, but it was like that, where it was like the super long, super dramatic, long
I
scenes.
have no idea what movie you're talking about, but that sounds boring.
I can't remember what it's called, but it actually was freaking amazing. I'll send you one when I can think of it. But there was one more movie at Cannes that there was the Adam Driver movie.
Oh my God. Yes, I actually wrote down I wanted to talk about this. Okay.
Dude. So I saw that it had a really long, there was a clip I saw. It was a post there, like the crowd was given a huge applause, and they were like panning on Adam Driver to be like you're the star, and he super coolly like kind of grabbed the camera and turned it towards like the old guy that was
Francis Ford Coppola, right?
Yeah,
so
give us the info.
Francis Ford Coppola, the movie's called Megalopolis, right? And it's supposed to be this like sci-fi epic that Francis Ford Coppola apparently spent like hundreds of $1 million to make this movie, and he had a super hard time shopping it because I guess it's very like, it's like a very personal odyssey film. And I'm going to read this review, okay? Because I sent this to you, and I'm like, this is like a mind-boggling review. Francis Ford Coppola's magnum opus lays frustrating groundwork in the service of madcap filmmaking. A tale of art, empires, and creative ambition, Megalopolis is, for better and worse, a profoundly personal vision whose wordy metaphors eventually give way to jaw-dropping transformations. You hear that review. I'm not going to say where it's from. It's from IGN. You hear that review, and you think like, it's mid. They gave it a 9. That review was a fucking 9. Like
the way they worded it made it sound like they hated on it while also saying it's like this movie is super shitty, and that's why it's so fucking amazing. Like, it just was a weird way of
what are we talking about?
So
I mean, like, now it's a movie I feel like I have to see, but I'm worried it's going to be a movie I'm going to spend 3 hours watching, and I'm going to be mad that I never got those 3 hours back. Whatever, we'll figure it
out. As you were saying all that, I'm like, what did he direct? Why do I not like the Godfathers? Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
There's a ton of other movies that not really anything recent that's big time, but
no, but he did what did he do Bram Stoker's Dracula?
He did Bram Stoker. That was the other one I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. But anyways, I'll watch it. I know a lot of people hate on Adam Driver. I fucking like Adam Driver.
I like Adam Driver too.
I think he's great. So
did you ever see sorry, I didn't talk about it. Did you ever see A Marriage Story with him and Scarlett Johansson, the Netflix movie? I think he was nominated for an Oscar for it.
No, but was that in black and white? Am I crazy? No, that's not.
No, they're like a couple getting divorced, and he's amazing in it. It's
Does he
incredible.
Cry a lot in it? I feel like I've seen clips of this movie, but it's not a movie that I'm like, I'm gonna sit down and watch Scarlett and stuff.
Yeah,
he's awesome. He's fucking great. I don't care what you say, Matt Bojanski. He's an attractive Sith Lord. Damn it.
Hostels with Christian Bale. Hostels.
Oh yes, dude. What's the ratings on it? Does it show right there?
Like a
that movie was fucking good. Yeah, like does it say like this was a 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10?
Probably 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I fucking really like
7 out of 10. Hostels.
Anyways, why don't we, since we've talked, well, I guess this episode won't be too long. We're doing an old movie, so that's pretty part of the course for us.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we can jump into our you need to see this movie of the week, the American dystopian action film, The Running Man from 1987. The Running Man was distributed by TriStar Pictures. It was directed by Paul Michael Glaser, which
Glazer.
Glaser, Glaser. Fun fact, he did a lot of acting credits when he was younger. He's most famously known as Detective Starsky from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh my God, nice.
Which I think
Classic.
is hilarious. He's one of those guys too that, like, if you saw him, you're like, oh yeah, he was that guy in that show I used to watch. You'd see him and you'd say that.
You couldn't name drop him. Yes.
No, but he directed this anyway. It was written by Steven E. D'Souza, who we've talked about before, who like directed Street Fighter and wrote a bunch of like 80s and 90s action films, such as 48 Hours, Die Hard, Commando, and Judge Dredd.
Bro, okay. I didn't know that. Didn't put that together. And it's a wonder that I fucking love that spoiler, that I fucking love this movie so much. Right. It's this dude, he makes movies for me. Fucking Street Fighter, 100%. Judge Dredd, The Running Man. Yeah. I could fucking watch those every night. Die Hard, like he's pandering to us.
I know. So he wrote the screenplay, which is very, very, very loosely based on a Stephen King novel.
You mentioned
which was written under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. So the cast includes Arnold Schwarzenegger as Captain Ben Richards, Maria Conchita Alonso as Amber Mendez, Richard Dawson as Damon Killian, Yaphet Kotto as William Laughlin, Jesse the Body Ventura as Captain Freedom, and the Cleveland Browns great Jim Brown as Fireball.
I've got a house down in the Baja. There's Will Sasso does the best Jesse the Body Ventura impersonation. It's fucking amazing.
He still has the greatest line from a movie ever, when Predators. I'm not going to repeat it, but I've said it on here before.
We did watch this movie together, which I know, like, that's you guys you prefer when we watch them together.
Well, it's good when we watch them together too, because we ask questions. Like, we're like, wait, what happened to Captain Freedom?
Yeah, well, and I like, obviously showing my age here, haha. But like, I didn't know the game show host guy,
Richard Dawson,
like, actually famous game show host. Like, you idiot. So just to me, I was like, oh my God, that makes this even cooler.
So before we even get started, like, we've been talking about how we're going to have fun facts about movies, right? So, dude, I am lined up and ready to go for this movie. Fun fact number 1, okay? The original game show host to host this was supposed to be Chuck Woolery, who was hosting the host of Love Connection, was supposed to play the part of Killian, but he was too busy filming episodes of Love Connection and Scrabble. And Arnold Schwarzenegger recommended Richard Dawson because he was such a big fan of Family Feud.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Yes.
That's how we got Richard Dawson.
I've seen his Family Feud clips, but they don't play them on TV. Well, no one watches TV anymore, but I've seen his Family Feud clips before. That didn't click when we were watching the movie.
So that's
I'm glad they didn't have anybody else. He was like perfect.
Oh, he's great because he's so sleazy. And like, it's hard for me to see Chuck Woolery play it as, I don't know, diabolical as freaking Richard Dawson did. I think Richard Dawson's the best part of the movie.
Dude, there's a moment where like he's walking into the building and he's like shaking hands and being cool, and the janitor bumps into him and he's like, "Oh, it's okay, but like, what's your name, buddy?" Like, the janitor was super like apologetic, and he's like, don't worry about it. And then he gets in the elevator. He's like, that fucking guy has a job tomorrow. You're out of a job tomorrow.
Yeah, to his assistant.
Gosh,
he's pretty brutal. Anyway, all right. So Running Man, like, most people are aware of this film. It is very, very loosely based on the original book. Okay. So the book is like, Ben Richards is just a normal American dude. He's out of a job. Like, his wife's like turning tricks for money to like to help the family. His daughter's sick, so he like volunteers to go on the show The Running Man.
Oh, you're talking the book.
The book,
because everything you just said, I was like,
no. This is the book. So this is how the book plays out. Like, he's just a regular dude. and they changed the script because that was how they were originally going to do it. So fun fact number 2,
Oh,
the
here we go.
original actor who was supposed to play Ben Richards was Christopher Reeve.
What?
Yep, he was supposed to play the Running Man.
That's wild. What
Yes.
changed there?
Well, they changed the way they were going to do the story, and they were going to make it more like he was this like army
Fucking
captain,
badass soldier.
right?
Okay.
And so then they're like, well, we're going to go with Arnold instead.
Yeah, which one's more soldiery? Which one's more regular man?
Right. So that was why they changed it. But yeah, so in the book, Ben Richards is like, and you can go anywhere in the world, like in the Running Man. Like the Running Man goes for like 30 days. Like that's how it goes. Like,
oh shit, okay,
you're running
cool.
from the authorities the entire time. Anyway, that's how the book is. So it's totally different. In
Okay.
the movie, Ben Richards is this like army pilot, Captain Richards, who is like told to, it's obviously very dystopian, like government controls everything. They basically come upon a riot. He's flying a helicopter. They come upon a riot for all these people stealing food because they're hungry. And he's given orders to just shoot into the crowd to stop the rioters. And he's like, it's women and children. I'm not going to do that. And they're basically, he's told, do it. And they tell everybody else to like subdue him and do it. And he like fights them off, and then they end up knocking him out, and then they kill all these people. Well, they kind of frame him for being this like massacre, this butcher, right?
Yeah.
What do they call him? The Butcher of Bakersfield, I think.
Yeah. Butcher of Bakersfield. They've like had basically the same exact camera that was the movie camera was also, I guess, their video camera. So they took the clips of that and like edited it to where it looked like he was the one who killed all these people.
Right. So then he breaks out of prison. There's a whole bunch of like, he kidnaps this gal, Amber, right? Tells her that it's all fake. We got to talk about like him walking through the airport incognito.
Oh my God.
There's so many things went wrong with him trying to like hide from authorities.
This movie opens up so crazy. Like the prison break is like this wild battle. Like they all have the Suicide Squad like bomb collars. Like if you go outside the thing, your head explodes, and like that was just like a kind of a wild, interesting way of him breaking out with a bunch of other people and then them going underground. He meets the main girl from the movie, and
we gotta talk about first, before he gets to the building where she's at, he's trying to hide from authorities.
I thought that was after when he was.
He's
you're
walking
right.
through the city, and he's wearing a fucking hard hat, a ripped off sleeve shirt. He's huge. It's Arnold in the 80s. He's gigantic, and he's smoking a cigar. Like everybody else is walking around in suits and dresses. Like you don't stick out like a sore throat.
Super nice like business like area, and he's supposed to be incognito. He's also the size of the Hulk with a super bright yellow hard hat and a cigar. And like, what's the first thing that someone does if someone's smoking a cigar within a 50-yard radius? Like you can smell it and you look for whoever it is. So we both kind of looked at each other like, oh, that's very incognito of you, Arnold. So in my head, I thought you were talking about the airport.
No, now I had to talk about the hard hat first. Now talk about the airport.
Well, so before he goes there, he goes to this apartment, which
thinks it's his brother's
apartment.
He thinks it's his brother's.
Thinks it's somebody he knows, and then somebody comes home, a woman, and who it's clearly not anybody he knows. But like this whole scene did not age very well at all. It's very sexual assaulty, like very rapey. Like so just she like comes home, she changes to like workout clothes, which
no,
is like
she was working out lingerie. She was wearing lingerie.
Yeah, she's working out in like her underwear.
Like a teddy. She's wearing like a teddy. Yes. I don't know. And, a slip? Maybe she was in a slip. I don't know.
And Arnold just like straight up pulls up on her and like covers her mouth and is like holding her hostage, and then clips over to he has tied her to the weight set. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Arnold, you're just breaking out of prison, and he's supposed to be the good guy who didn't kill all those people because he
Yeah, but you just killed like 30 prison guards, and now you've
but
kidnapped
he just
this woman.
murdered all these working prison guards, and now you're like kidnapping, sexually assaulting this lady. So I just thought as we were watching that, I was like, I don't remember this part being like this, but this, I feel like if a movie came out like this now, nobody would be rooting for him. So, anyways, and at one point he rips, like she's tied to this thing, and he just randomly
bolted
grabs
to the floor,
bench,
apparently, because everybody bolts their Bowflex to the floor.
Yeah, there's a bench press Bowflex in her living room that is bolted to the floor, and for whatever reason, when Arnold's like done talking to her, he grabs the front of it and just like fucking rips it out of the ground while she's still laying on it. There's no context to it.
He had to show her how strong he was.
Yes. So his plan is to kidnap this woman and use her as his like disguise to get on an airplane
travel
to fly.
Pass, right? Like she has you have to.
Oh yeah. Pass. So, which I think that is a cool part of this movie, the dystopian, futuristic, like cyberpunk kind of vibes, very Total Recall vibes.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So he's going to kidnap her so he could use her as a travel pass, and for him to be incognito, which I guess makes sense when talking about where their destination was. But he's
Hawaii,
right? He's a massive man, and he's in this fucking super flamboyantly colorful, like flower shirt.
It's like a Tommy Bahama shirt.
Yeah, with a fucking fedora.
God, it's the brim is like. Though it's like a giant brim on that freaking hat.
Yes, he is the most non-incognito person ever when he's trying to be incognito. Yep. Like he's already a massive like man, and then he dresses like a billboard. So, anyways, so they go through the airport. She fucking finds her moment.
She punches him in the dick.
Yeah, so she can try to get away. He gets arrested again, and then we get to the next part of the movie.
Right. So then he basically is told or given the option like, you're probably going to get killed, or you can go on this show, The Running Man, and we can kill you on live TV and get ratings up. Because it's all about the ratings and the money, right? He's the butcher, Bakersfield, so they're going to put him on the show. And they put him on the show. And then when he gets there, right, so Killian's running this thing. He's got to go through all these different levels and fight these hunters who all have a gimmick, right? And then
this TV show is like the most famous thing in the world. Like this
it's the most
show,
watched
like
show.
Everybody tunes into this show every week or whatever.
I mean, if it was real, I would watch it.
Yeah, I would watch it. Hell yeah.
100%.
It's so 80s because like there's characters that feel like video game bosses like throughout the movie. So
and there's old ladies like, oh, I love that Sub-Zero, you know, like, oh, I love when he cuts people's faces off, you know. It
is very like, what if The Price is Right were the contestants like were literally fighting for their life, but everything was treated colorful and fun, like it's The Price is Right. Like it's a cool ass concept for a movie.
Yeah, but the two guys that like he escaped with, they had caught them too, so they're like, oh, they're gonna go with you in the game. So then he fights the first hunter, which is Sub-Zero, which is this giant Japanese hockey guy with a razor sharp hockey stick. And, you know, it's all in a ice rink, and he ends up like using barbed wire and like ripping his throat out, which is pretty badass. But it's the first time a hunter's ever died on the show. So they don't know how to treat it. Right. And they show they show all these, like all the poor people are betting on the show. Like, you know, he's gonna, you know, who's gonna die first, or who's gonna be the first hunter that gets picked by the contestant, you know, the person in the audience, whatever. Yeah. And meanwhile, while this is going on, Amber figures out like, oh, this is bullshit, because they like posted a news story about how like he had attacked her and abused her and like, you know, all these bad things. And she's like, well, that wasn't really how it went down. So she finds like the real video of the massacre, and that how he wasn't involved at all. He tried to stop it. And so she wants to get it put on air. And they catch her. So what do they do with her? They put her in the show. right?
Which is, it's just, we just talked about all the things that Arnold did to kidnap this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, probably his 45-inch pythons,
Mm-hmm.
she decides that she like wants to believe that he's a good guy and goes
Well,
and finds this and is like, all right, I want to help this guy out now, even though he kidnapped me and tried to take me across the world. So yeah, they add her to it, which is an interesting mix because it's like three dudes who are trying to survive this like athletic battle 1v1 against these basically American gladiators.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you called it American Gladiators on like freaking more steroids than they were already on.
Yeah, it is The Price is Right if that was part of American Gladiators and all of the American Gladiator stuff was to the death. So I think the hunters are super cool, like that they're very themed. They all have their own like special weapons and style and goofy gimmick name.
Some of them are a little goofier than others.
Yes, but they add her to the group of survivors, and that changes the dynamic because now you're like, oh, now we've got someone who essentially can't really help from what they think. And so how do we all survive, and what do we do as a group to get out of this?
Right. So then they get to the second level, and it's two hunters. It's Buzzsaw, who was like the greatest hunter from the previous year, and Dynamo, who Dynamo is like an opera singing, like,
he's Raiden. The lamest.
It's like Raiden. He like shoots lightning out of his, like, electrical.
He's a Raiden. He is Raiden if Raiden was Porky Pig as a human. Like he reminds me of Porky Pig. He's a little different.
I always think he reminds me of Francis from the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like, stole his bike.
Oh my god. Who? I guess the actor was probably a nobody, but kind of like Meatloaf in Hotel Transylvania. Like, that's the vibe I get from him.
That's fair. I get that. Yeah, totally.
And he's in a full light bright suit. Like, if you remember,
straight up light brights. Yeah,
like his suit is literally fucking light brights. It lights up. He's got the Marvin the Martian like
Mohawk Trojan helmet.
Oh. But he looks like Porky Pig. He's a big fat white guy.
Yeah.
And his gimmick is he sings opera while also fucking electrocuting people.
Shooting laser lightning out of his hands.
But he's a weenie.
Yeah, and he drives this little fucking dune buggy around, which is even makes it even stupider. He's the worst one. He's the worst one. He's so dumb.
His car is like the 90s McDonald's car toys, like the Batman toys, where the car is really small, but the head and the person is really big. That's exactly what his light bright car was.
It's amazing. So, yeah. And so anyway, Arnold kills freaking Buzz. He like takes his chainsaw and he goes right up the gonads and just cuts him in half. And then Dynamo.
He said so many fucking hilarious one-liners after he kills all the hunters. Yeah. After he fucking chokes out the dude with the barbed wire, he said something like, he says something like he's a pain in the neck, or he said something like he's just hanging around, or something like that.
The best one is where he's like, Sub-Zero, now just plain zero.
Oh my god, I forgot how much your Arnold impression is the best part of our entire show.
Yours is pretty good. Plain zero.
Plains. He says something after he splits Buzzsaw with his chainsaw. He's like, now he's got a splitting headache, or something like that.
It's so bad.
He's the worst one-liners, but they're
the best.
Hilarious.
They're amazing. Okay, so anyway, they find this like communications relay. I don't know. So they're like going to upload. She has the video still, right? Mm-hmm. Like in the game, she hid it somewhere. We won't say. Yeah, I don't think that's where it was. But anyway, she hides it. So they're going to like upload the video to prove that he's innocent, right? But Dynamo kills the one dude. I think Buzzsaw did end up killing the other guy. So it ends up just being her and Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And then, so
Dynamo shocks the one guy.
Yeah,
and then
he just kind of dies. He like gets shocked and dies.
So Dynamo kills the nerdy. Dynamo kills the nerdy guy. Like, he goes to shock him and the nerdy guy and the girl, and he pushes the girl out of the way. Gets shocked. It doesn't look like an epically like major hit, but that killed him. So which
he's
they
dead.
don't really allude to, but this is a tiny little shock. He goes down, he's dead. And essentially the same thing happens to the black dude. Like Buzzsaw comes driving up on his dirt bike with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't even hit him with his chainsaw. He just like
hits
bonks him.
Like he hits his arm. I mean, he
and that killed the guy. So
he bled to death.
There's a underground like rebellion group that's kind of a lot of these, like the nerdy guy that's trying to survive. They're all trying to work for this like underground rebellion. There's a lot of that. That's kind of like,
and that was the guy that like took his collar off after they escaped prison. The character of Mick, which is played by Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, which
fun fact, hella random.
Mick's played by Mick Fleetwood. Couldn't even change his name for it, but whatever. So so there's this underground thing. They're trying to rebel against the government, which owns the network, and blah blah blah. Basically Jim Brown plays Fireball, who's one of the hunters. He's like this old seasoned hunter with a flamethrower.
Yeah,
it kind of build up to it like he's this big badass that's going to show up, and then
he does nothing.
Now he kind of he fizzles out. Get it? Ha ha ha. He fizzles out. He doesn't say that, but it's how it is. And then,
oh my god, do the whole episode like that.
I know. And then like Jesse Ventura plays Captain Freedom, who was like the greatest hunter of all time, and he's long retired, and he does like other stuff now. Like
he's a commentary guy.
They show these like cheesy workout videos that he hosts and stuff. Yeah, he's just like a sports commentator now. And basically they call him out of retirement, but they're gonna like load him up with this like horrible toaster looking like robot suit. I don't even know how to describe it. It looked like the dumbest thing ever.
Like and he giant pots and pans armor, essentially.
Awful. And Killian's like, oh no, you're gonna wear this and you're gonna stop him. And he's like, I won't do it. And he just leaves. And then we're like, is he done? Like, does he come back? I don't remember.
Disappears. So, and then they end up like, so you think the whole time they're kind of like building up that potentially Jesse the Body and Arnold are going to have this like epic one-on-one, and Jesse's going to be like the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't end up actually meeting at all, other than in a fake video that the TV station basically makes a video showing Jesse like killing the girl and Arnold.
Right.
So that like the crowd thinks that the hunters won, because like it's gotten out of hand now. They're like, we
people
don't know
are betting on Ben Richards. They're like rooting for him. Like they have this old lady, and they're like, who do you think's gonna? Oh, so who do you think's gonna be the hunter? They're the next one with the kill, and she's like, Ben Richards. And
she says it just like that. What? Ben Richards.
Ben Richards.
She looks like she like knits daily. Like
for sure.
It's such a funny ass old lady. Movie is just it's kick ass.
It is.
It's totally bananas off the walls, but like
super cheesy.
It's a movie that nobody, when they're talking about like what's Arnold's best movies, like that nobody thinks of this movie, but then whenever it's brought up, most people that have seen it are like, that movie fucking rocked.
Like oh yeah, like that movie. I forgot about that movie. Yeah,
so,
it rocks. Anyway, they upload the video. Arnold gets Killian. He puts him in the pod and he basically kills him. You know,
they've got a base to get into the game show. They have this like bobsled tube. Yeah. Very reminiscent of Batman Forever, Val Kilmer, when he goes down to his fucking bat cave. He's in this little pill that just shoots 1,000,000 miles an hour. So like the end, they send Killian down in it, and all of a sudden the net that caught all the other ones isn't there, and he fucking flies into a billboard and explodes. Like that's how they kill the game show host. So
and it's good, and I love it, and that's it, and that's basically the Running Man.
Yeah, we
Right
just
there.
gave you the entire movie rundown. But
There's not a ton of plot to it. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Couple other fun facts before we wrap this
love
baby up.
it. Love it.
There's these cutscenes like before the show starts where they have like all these like dancers. Right?
Oh yeah, like the Nitro girls, the
like the Nitro girls.
WCW dancer girls.
So guess who choreographed all their performances?
Oh no.
Guess.
Who?
He'll give you
The
a guess.
Nitro girls? The WCW Nitro girls?
No, but like guess who the one person was that choreographed this?
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Paula Abdul.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Of course she did. That's the most 80s Paula Abdul thing to do.
It was her second film credit.
That dance, we talked about that. That dance scene is long. It's like 6 minutes long.
Multiple times too.
Yeah, it's not like a quick like, oh, there's dancers and then they move on. It's like here is a full dance video for 6 minutes.
Pee and refill your popcorn. This scene's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
listen, it's a ton of fun. The movie's a ton of fun. I really enjoy it. Not Arnold's best outing, but like a kick-ass movie. Like you know, it's fun. It's a solid 8.
Yeah, it's 8, and I know you who are listening have not watched it in a very long time.
Right.
Though we just gave you the entire movie, go watch it. You need to. It's been years. It's time. You won't regret it. And it's not that long. It's a pretty short movie.
Yeah. Like even when he's, I mean, just so you can hear Arnold say, Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero. Just for that. You should watch this movie. It's so bad. Anyway.
Now Plane Zero.
Plane Zero.
Best fucking clip ever.
I love it. Anyway, that's the 1987 American dystopian action film, The Running Man. And that takes us into my favorite segment. There can be only 5.
Only 5.
So we're just doing one tonight because we got something new we're going to try after this. So we're doing one. It's a big one because we've never done this before. This is our first Arnold movie.
Yeah.
What? Crazy. How does two of us that like
Sly a show before we gave Arnold?
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, top 5 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Bring it on.
Let's go. All right. My top 5. Okay, so I did this Arnold Schwarzenegger performances.
I knew that's why you used that word and not best movies. I knew there was something behind it. But I don't know what movie is behind it. I just know that there was one. There's something about it.
It's like in movie. There are like Commando's one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. It's definitely not his best performance.
I saw a lot of lists have that as number 1.
Get out of here.
I said the same thing. It's like,
remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied.
I lied.
It's the best. Anyway, all right.
Great.
I had 2 honorable mentions. Okay. I had
Me too.
Honorable mention, Total Recall.
Nice.
I think Arnold's awesome in that movie. Over the top. He plays this, am I actually a bad guy? Or is this all actually part of this thing?
Yep.
I don't know. Crazy. Movie's awesome. And then the other one I had on there, terrible movie, Junior. He's hilarious as a pregnant doctor.
Oh my God. I forgot about that movie. Holy shit.
He pulls off the doctor thing. And like some of the jokes he says, like feel how soft my skin is, or my nipples are very hard, he's pregnant. Like that shit cracks me up. Anyway, those are my honorable mentions.
I freaking love it.
At number 5, and this is a movie I haven't seen in a long time either. But God, like it was really his first like getting into comedy kind of thing. And Arnold really did shine when he was doing comedy.
Yes.
And obviously when he could marry the two together is, I think, when he did the best. But at number 5, I had Twins, right? Twins is hilarious. I think he holds his own very well opposite Danny DeVito. It's a very interesting film. It's also hilarious. So Twins is at number 5.
Love that. I agree. He is fucking hilarious. It's even funnier because he's a big, giant, jacked fucking Mr. Olympia who
Yes.
also is funny.
There's also like goofy freaking doofus in this
he'll
movie.
make a movie about him being pregnant.
And then he makes that, right. Number 4, action and comedy together. At number 4, I had Kindergarten Cop.
Oh.
The way he interacts with these children, hilarious. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. I love that movie. It's great. He does such a good job as like this undercover cop, kindergarten teacher, you know, and the movie really does a good job of balancing like the drama versus the comedy with the kids. And then it's got a little bit of action at the end and stuff. Anyway, good movie. I think kind of underrated, and everybody remembers some of the one-liners and stuff out of Kindergarten Cop.
Amazing.
At number 3, I had the original Terminator, the movie that really skyrocketed Arnold into superstardom. The Terminator.
Love that.
He's terrifying in that movie. Like he's
scary.
Amazing.
AF.
Amazing, terrifying. The part where he like cuts his eyeball out and stuff in the sink.
Oh,
You're just like, what the fuck? Crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome movie. I love him in the original Terminator. That was number 3. And number 2, I had True Lies. If Arnold was if he's ever going to pair comedy and action together, perfection. His action scenes in that movie are awesome. Comedy is great. The way he like plays off of Jamie Lee Curtis, the striptease scene, like that shit cracks me up every time.
Dude, yes.
Hilarious. The Arnold's great in that movie. That movie's great. And it's also like you believe him as this doofus dad, like insurance salesman or whatever he is, that is actually this super secret agent spy, badass, but also fucking hilarious.
It's so fucking funny. We've talked about True Lies before on this pod, which I appreciate.
Yeah, love. we should probably do an episode on True Lies. True Lies is number 2, and then number 1. There's no other movie like T2 is number 1. Arnold's the best. His performance is amazing. He's just as terrifying as he is in the original Terminator, except he also has like this heartwarming cyborg side, right? Like, and he does such a great job with it. Yeah. His performance as the Terminator in all these movies, even the shittier ones as they got worse, he's still the best part of all these movies.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. He's always the best part. So
love that.
T2, number 1.
Man, we've been giving Terminator 2 some love these last couple of weeks. So it's kind of worked out.
Perfect movie.
Love your list. When you said we were doing this list, I almost, because he has so many movies, I almost did my list as top 5 Arnold performances that aren't Terminator, so I can do the other movies. But was looking at it and was like, no, I can do this. I can make it happen. So I had 2 honorable mentions like you. Kindergarten Cop was one of them. Like you said, the one-liners in that is so fucking hilarious. She's like, they're horrible, like little terrorists. Like, it's fucking so funny. And then my other one, which nobody thinks this movie's great. For whatever reason, I thought it was like cool, and it threw me off when it came out, and I thought it was actually scary. Was End of Days, where he's like a rugged cop,
like a piece of shit alcoholic cop. He
like fights the devil. It was like, oh shit, he had a beard. It was like his first beard movie. But yeah, I don't know why I like that movie a lot, so I had that as honorable mention.
Soundtrack rocked.
The soundtrack rocked. I did not have The Running Man on my top 5 list because we just did a whole episode on it, but I do love that movie. So I'll say honorable mention, but here we go. Number 5. I had a tie. You know me. I couldn't do it without doing a tie. Mainly because these are 2 movies that I watched in our house all the time. We had the VHS. Eraser, which is, again, another movie that not a lot of people like know. What are you laughing at?
He shoots the alligator. Your luggage. Fuck yes.
Dude, Eraser is such. I thought it was such a cool movie when I was a kid.
Yeah, with the
Like,
rail guns and stuff.
dude, yeah,
Fuck yeah.
they end up like take basically these like these weapons, these machine guns that are like extremely. What's the word I'm looking for? They're like not. Nobody has these guns in the whole world. They're like prototypes.
Yeah, they're
and
rail guns. They shoot
up.
through things.
Yeah, it's like I thought that was cool. I used to like play that as a kid. Of like that was the big epic gun we had. There's a cool scene, like they call it eraser because like they like erase people. They get rid of like their dental, like they get rid of everything to erase someone. That's kind of the process. No one's seen that movie in a long time, but I fucking loved it. And then Last Action Hero. God damn, I love that movie. Fuck. Not only do we get badass like cliche action hero Arnold in that movie where he's like purposely playing a movie character of himself, so it's like it's kind of Inception. It's like a dream within a dream.
I didn't appreciate that movie for its creativity. Like when it first came out and stuff, I didn't appreciate it. I still don't like the movie, and I think I've talked about that on here before because of that kid. I hate that kid. I hate him.
Oh yeah, kid is super annoying. Kid is super annoying. I thought that movie was like kind of, even though it's about a fucking movie character like coming to life and the kid going into a movie, there's a serious tone to it, and like the bad guy is fucking like scary as hell. So, but when that freaking Big Guns AC/DC plays and that car jumps over the bridge and he's trying to turns the fucking car sideways to grab the dynamite, to put the dynamite out. What a badass. Also, we got Hamlet Arnold in that. Yeah. Was it Hamlet that he did?
Smoking the cigar, holding the skull.
He fucking shows up on like a horse with a stogie doing Hamlet. Like I thought that was cool. So anyways, Eraser, Last Action Hero, number 5. That's my only ties. Number 4, I fucking love this movie. True Lies. It is amazing for all the reasons that you said, for all the reasons that I can't remember what list I had it on a couple episodes ago or months ago, but I fucking love True Lies. Go watch that movie if you haven't seen it in a while. Number 3, a classic that I go back and forth on of like how much I love this movie, but anytime I see it every 7 years, I am like totally brought back. Total Recall is just a classic. Like Arnold in Total Recall is fucking awesome. We've talked about the newer one that they tried to redo it and it just didn't anywhere near capture what Total Recall did with original Arnold. Where he's going through the airport thing in Mars and he takes the like head, like the woman's head off that he's wearing. Fucking just a
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
It's such a like the body horror kind of stuff that's in that movie. Is
he pulls that thing out of his brain through his nose.
Yes, with the little like spider grabber thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, man! That other dude has like an extra guy like in his like stomach. Quaid.
His name's Quaid. Arnold's name's Quaid. The little dude's name isn't his name. Quado or something like that.
I don't remember. I can't remember.
It's like
Quado. What a wild movie.
And there's that chick with 3 boobs.
Yeah, the 3 boobs girl. There's the weird ass taxi driver.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that movie is a straight up fever dream, but I love it.
It's amazing.
I switched these back and forth a couple of times because one, I didn't want to put something on my top that we've talked about multiple times. What?
Michael Ironside's in that movie too.
Dude, remember? There's a lot of people in that movie.
It is Quado.
This movie I fucking love, and I don't think people talk about it as like a big time acting movie for him because he doesn't have a lot of dialogue in it. But it is fucking the movie in my life that made him fucking rock star is Predator. Fucking Arnold in Predator 1. God, he's so badass. Dylan!
Son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Like, fucking great when he mud paints him up to take on the Predator, and he fucking tricks this freaking galaxy traveling hunter. It's fucking awesome movie. That's one of the movies that I'm constantly like, anytime I see the NECA figures in like Walmart or Target, I'm like, I need to get a fucking Predator figure.
Yeah.
So he is a badass in that movie. And then number one, I had tie. Actually, I lied. I did have another tie, but I had Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
Fair.
Because, like, holy shit. In Terminator 1, you like performance for being like a terrifying bad guy, like you said, yes. And Terminator 2, like, complete different. Like, just it was like you loved him. It was heartfelt. You just loved everything about him. He had this like lovable goofball who's also a unstoppable killing machine who is trying not to be a killing machine. Like, we talked about that a couple episodes ago. I just watched that movie recently, and it really is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yep.
And a lot of that is primarily because Arnold is just fucking awesome. So T2 is really my number one, but I threw Terminator 1 in there too because I feel like they go together. So
let's get it.
All right.
Totally understand.
That's my list.
Like your list. Good stuff. Glad you had Predator on there since I left Predator off. I went more with like
Predator.
I went more with the comedy, having twins and stuff on there. But I'm glad. So I'm glad you had Predator on.
So I like it. I do these lists just because I want to talk about some of these movies, whether they're actually listed as our top ones or not. So
right. All right.
We just did a great job with that.
We did. So new segment. We're gonna do this. We're gonna try this out. Tell us what you think in the comments. Leave us comments. Tell us what you think. How rotten is your fruit?
Yeah, love that.
So I'm going to give Kyle 10 movies, and I'm going to give him a Rotten Tomatoes score, and he's going to guess, is this movie higher or lower than the score I give? And
we're doing like 1v1 of 10 total, right?
I'm giving you 10. Cool. And then next time you'll give me 10, right? So here we go.
Yep.
Today's subject, 10 movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Oh, here we go. Love that.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start with today's movie, The Running Man. Kyle, over or under 70%?
Under. I'm going to say under.
Correct. It was 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, The Running Man.
What? God.
Bullshit, right? The audience score was 61%.
Dude.
Which is shocking.
I can't believe it.
All right.
That is shocking.
All right. We're going to do T1, T2, T3. Are you ready?
Okay.
Terminator 1. Over under 96%.
Ooh. That was like a phenomenon. That's over.
Terminator 1 is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Holy shit. 100%?
100%.
That's
audience
crazy.
Score is an 89.
I think, okay, well, now that I know that, I would say that is probably ranked higher than T2, which is fucking bananas to think that. And T3 can't be anywhere near them.
Okay. So T2, over under 93%.
Odd. Had to be over. There's no way.
No. As a 91.
What?
91.
Get
T2's
out of here.
Audience score was a 95.
How is Terminator 1 rated above Terminator 2?
There are people out there that think Terminator 1 is a better movie. I think those people are stupid, but there are people that think
wrong.
They're wrong. You are correct.
God.
They're playing zero.
Oh,
right.
yes.
Terminator 3, over under 68%.
Oh my God, what a drop off. It was higher than that. We talked about this. Like, I ended up enjoying the movie more than I thought I remembered. It's over.
T3 is 70%. You're correct.
Okay.
Audience score. Any idea where you think the audience score is for T3?
Oh,
it is lower.
At least what?
Way
I was going to say the 70s. What?
Way
the audience, the freaking critics who don't know anything about anything normal liked it better than the audience did.
Audience score
shocking.
46.
Holy
G3.
shit. I guess that kind of lines up with what we talked about on brand of like, this movie gets a lot of hate and not a lot of people talk about it fondly, but when you go back and watch it, it's actually not that bad.
Right. All right.
So, anyways,
here's a random one we haven't talked about yet today. Conan the Barbarian.
Oh.
Over under 65%.
What? It's over. It's one of his best movies ever.
67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Conan the Barbarian.
Oh my God.
You were right. It was over. Audience scores 74.
60?
Yeah, keep in mind that's 67% is like a 7 out of 10. That's not a bad score, right? Like you got to think about that from that perspective. All right, Conan.
Well, and at that time he was not like, that was his first movie, right? Conan the Barbarian was?
I think it was his first major role where he actually spoke the words and wasn't dubbed.
Okay. I love that. I wanted to get the fucking badass like King Conan, like a whole movie where he's like the old guy king.
I hope they still do it. I think they could still make it. I
heard that could be a thing. And there's a NECA figure that's coming out of that exact thing. So, anyways,
all right, we got a couple comedies. Are you ready? True Lies. Over under 72%.
Over. People love that movie.
Under. True Lies is 70%. The audience score is only 76, which I was shocked.
Oh, well, I mean, now hearing that the actual score was 70, I'm glad to hear the audience got it more than the critics did. But that movie was fucking awesome. That was, I wouldn't say necessarily a phenomenon, but it was like a movie that like the world was talking about when it came
out. I think it was a big hit. So anyway, all right. Twins.
Okay.
Over under 45%.
Oh my God. There's no way that's under 45. People actually like that movie. There's no way.
42.
It's got to be in the 60s.
42.
Oh my God.
Holy Twins is a 42%. The audience scores 39.
Dude, people did not like that movie. Did not know that.
No.
Do you think it's because it wasn't like action hero?
I don't know. That's a good question. But
Danny DeVito's just hard to look at.
I just think people thought that the story was stupid.
Yeah, that's wild.
All right.
Wow.
2 left. 40. Right? No, we have 3 left. All right. Total Recall. Over under 80%.
Ooh. I feel like I keep guessing the overs on this. I'm going to take under. It's under
82. 80. Total Recall's
oh my 82. God.
Audience score was a 79, so audience was kind of in line. It was right around 80, so about the same.
I'm glad that got the love it deserved.
That was higher than I thought it would be, but I think it's right where it should be. That was kind of how I thought it.
So like when was Rotten Tomatoes? How long has Rotten Tomatoes been doing this? So they had to go back and
right. So Rotten Tomatoes scores, they do review aggregates for older movies too, right? Because it's basically you're just taking the percentage of the reviews that are positive, right?
Okay.
So they can do it as far back as they want to. Like I think just about every movie has a Rotten Tomatoes score because it's all based on, like this movie that's old had 100 reviews. 47% of them were positive, right? Like that's how they rate it. All right.
What an interesting job that would be.
I know, right?
Fucking awesome.
To add all that up. Okay. 2 left. Jingle All the Way. Over under 22%.
Oh my God, that is so horrible. You can't go under 22. That's a over. They're got to be in the 30s.
It's a 20%.
Oh my God, Arnold.
Movie's terrible. God. Jingle All the Way is 20%. The audience score was a 41. God. It was double. Audience score was 41.
I mean, I was a kid, obviously, so maybe that's why I fondly remember that movie because it was about an action figure, and I fucking loved action figures.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that's a pretty low score for an Arnold Christmas movie.
The last movie on this list, just for you, Batman and Robin.
Oh, here we go.
Over or under 10%.
What?
Over or under
10%.
Mm-hmm.
No fucking way. That movie is in the 40s minimum, 30s maybe. That's under 10%. Get the fuck out of here.
You're correct. It's over, but it's
Oh,
actually 12.
oh my God. Holy shit. That movie really did suck.
It did. It's
Apparently.
terrible. What do you think the audience score was on that one? Old Batman and Robin.
It had to be like significantly different than the what? Really?
16.
That wasn't in like the third. Oh my God.
Terrible.
That's crazy. I liked that movie as a kid.
Oh, it's so
Remember,
bad.
we've talked about this. Like, it was only until I got older, a certain age, where I realized like there were bad movies and good movies.
Right.
Like, as a kid, I was just like, oh, this is what the Batman movie is. Like, I got fucking Mr. Freeze and Robin is super cool. Like, I didn't realize it was that bad. And holy shit, I guess I didn't even realize how bad the ratings were. Was it a flop financially?
Yeah, so it made a ton of money its first weekend, like $48 million.
And they were like, this is the worst movie ever. Don't you dare go spend money on it.
I mean, now too, but like really wanted repeat viewings. It was really what you wanted. Because you wanted kids to go to a movie and be like, I love Batman, and then want to go back again and again and again. And this movie, they didn't. They didn't want to go back.
Talk about fucking Arnold one-liners. Everybody, chill. Mr. Freeze.
And he's the best part of that goddamn movie.
I know. I almost fucking dropped like $125 on five figures just so I can get the Mr. Freeze Build-A-Figure. But I didn't pull the trigger. I did get the Robin, though. I do have.
It'd be worth it for the Robin. It's worth it for the Robin.
I was kind of annoyed that they dropped this Robin before they did the Batman Forever one. Because this is more like Nightwing. But they did announce and leak that they are doing the Batman Forever Robin. So I'm going to replace him.
Yeah.
Old O'Connell?
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Jesus. Matt's going to kill me. That was, I think a lot of people's sexual awakening was Chris O'Donnell in that movie. So, not talking about me. I've had friends tell me, though. So,
Jesus.
It's a great way to end our episode.
It is. Anyway, what'd you think? Did you like that? Was that?
Yeah, I like that.
A little different. We don't have to do it every week, but
I like the little switch up. I think for you, I'm gonna probably give you 2 movies at a time and that are similar.
Ooh.
And then ask which one do you think is higher or lower?
Okay.
And then potentially have ones that you're gonna think one is higher that might not be. So
we're gonna work this thing out. We're gonna perfect it.
I like it. I like something different.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit more. Sometimes when we do our top 5s, when we pick our second one, we're like, what random, let's just do something.
Sometimes those random ones are fun. Sometimes it's fun.
Yeah. It's our podcast.
Yeah.
We do what we want.
We're not getting paid. Anyway.
Yet.
Yeah. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click the like and subscribe. Set the bell, hit the bell, set reminders when new episodes come out, which is typically 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesdays. This week, we're a little delayed. Unfortunately, I had a work thing I had to do that prevented me from doing it. Kind of one of my stores that my real job, to tornado tore through the town, kind of needed my full attention. So I was doing that kind of thing. So legit reason. So we're going to be delayed this week. But if you're not watching us on YouTube, hopefully you're watching this on many podcast networks such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. You can also see some of our short clips and videos on social media at Midnight.has on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're back next week for our 50th episode. Episode number 50. George Miller's action epic, hopefully masterpiece.
I'm so freaking excited.
Furiosa.
I'm so happy to see good reviews for that. I haven't read them fully. I've just seen the headlines of them, and it makes me excited for a movie that I would want to be good. This is a movie I'm excited for. So
Furiosa,
wait.
a Mad Max saga.
Bring it
Episode
on.
50. See you next week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.